everybody, for our Keep It a Buck segment for today. So you don't buy things with money, okay? What you use to buy things is the time it takes you to make that money, okay? And so with that will change, with that understanding, it will change your relationship with money. So let me say that again. You don't spend money, or you don't use money to buy things. You use or spend the time that it takes you to make that money, okay? And what that's going to help you understand and realize is the value of time even more. And I'll give you a real life example. When I had my first corporate job, I was actually in DC. I was working at ADP. I was doing outside business to business sales for ADP. This is way before I started trading, way before I got licensed, all of that stuff. And I used to wear suits a lot. And one of my side hustles is I would literally go to affluent communities in rich neighborhoods, and I would go to these high-end estate sales, or I would go to their high-end thrift shops, and I would buy these luxury brand name suits for myself in general in the beginning, but then I was getting them for like $5, $10. It would be like Gucci, 𝐷𝐻𝐼, it would be, you know, Yves Saint Laurent, it would be just some really good suits. And because the people were dying, and I was like, they got full closets and stuff like that, right? And I would take these suits, and I was like, man, I could sell these suits. I would take these suits, and I set up a table at the Georgetown Flea Market. And I would literally sell these suits for $100, $200, $300 that I was just getting for $5 to $10, right? And so it took me time, energy, and effort to go to these estate sales, go and set up the table at the Georgetown Flea. But what happened was I started to shift my mindset as an entrepreneur on how I was spending my personal money. And I would look at, because I used to go on a lot of dates, or I would go out, I would always be outside, and I would look and say, okay, well, this date just cost me $200. Well, that $200 could have bought me X amount of suits, and that X amount of suits could have brought me X amount of profit and return on my investment, right? And so I started looking at money differently, and I started looking at time differently. How much money and how much time does it take me to put this initial investment in, and how much of a return does that actually bring me back? So when you start looking at what you're doing with your week, there's 168 hours in a week. Start breaking down what you're doing with your time and how much of that time is supposed to be used to make you money, and how much of that time is used to be able to capture return on investment from that time spent and or that money spent, okay? So you don't spend or use money to buy things. You use and spend your time. So make sure that you are managing your time properly, and you're using it to be poured in more into things that will bring you positive return on investments for that time, energy, and effort than not, okay? So that is our Keeping It in the Buck for today.